Hi crafters. Today I'm going to show you how I made this double box pop-up standalone card using the Creekbank Creations base die set. The card will fold flat and fit into an A2 size envelope. I have also done a couple of quick samples for you showing you the graduation set I used, and then there's also one with Christmas that I did. But the one we're going to work on today is going to be the happy birthday. The die set that we're going to be using is the Creekbank Creation double box pop-up base die set. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing we're going to need is a piece of paper that's approximately 6 by 9, and we are going to use this die to cut out our main base. Then the next thing that we're going to need is a piece of paper that is approximately 7.5 by 2 1/4. Now you are going to need 2, because this is going to be our boxes on the front of our base. So you're going to use this die, and we are going to cut 2 of these out. I'm going to continue by showing you all the pieces that are going to need to be die cut. Next, we are going to cut a piece of paper for the background. I use the Creekbank Creations Purple Party 6x6 paper pad for my background. And then you're going to use the die that's in your set that is approximately 4.5 by 5.5 inches, and we're going to die cut out the background. So I laid out the dies and the pieces of paper that need to be cut for the remainder of the card. So we're going to need 2 of the large ovals. We're going to need 2 of the small ovals, which is what's going to make our sentiment background. We're going to need 2 of the larger rectangle, which is going to be the background for the front of our boxes. And we're going to need 2 of the smaller rectangle, which is going to be the background for the top of my boxes. And we're going to need 2 circles, which I will show you go underneath the birthday. And we're going to need 1 of the strip, which is what holds our sentiment that pops out on our card. So now we're ready to build our base. I'm going to show you a diagram that has the score lines in it, just so you can see these are going to be the score lines. And what we're going to do is, the first thing I do is I fold it in half and make sure that this and this lines up perfect, because it's very important that they line up perfect. Line it up perfect and crease it. Then you're going to fold in your other score lines, make sure this is lined up again, crease it. Same thing on this side, fold it in, crease it, and on your little tab, fold it in and crease it. Now the next thing that we're going to do is we're actually going to put our background on here, because it's easier to put our background on before we fold our box together. So I've cut a piece of the Purple Party paper to use for my background. And you can just fold your background in half, or if you want to score it, you would score it at 1 7/8, which makes it a little bit easier to fold it. I've already pre-taped mine, so what we're going to do is we're just going to take the tape off, and then we are going to place this on the back of our base. And there's 2 ways you can do this. You can just line it up here and then fold your card in half, or you can take it and put it on half your card, line it up, and then close your card flat. I usually line it up. Whoops, we're sticking here already. Well, that's all right. I think I actually have it lined up. So we're going to line it up, press it down, and then we're going to fold our card in half, make sure that everything's still lined up, and it is. Okay, so now I have my background on. Once I have my background on, then I'm going to take and tape my little tab here on the side. I've already pre-done my tab just to save us time. So once, and then you're going to take and fold this over and just close it on there. Make sure everything's lined up before I press it tight. I always make sure everything works. It does. And then I'm going to press that tight. Okay, now we have our first part of our base done. We have our square. The next thing that I do is I take my circles that we cut out. The circles, they have little score lines on them. Such as that one, you can see the score line. You're going to just fold it in half. Now I'm going to take my folded circles and I'm going to put glue on one half of my circle. Then I'm going to take my circle and I'm going to put it approximately halfway down right on this score line. And then I'm going to take my other half circle and I'm going to put glue on the back of half of it. And I'm going to place the fold in next to the fold. And I'm going to glue that one down also. So now I have basically a completed circle. And this is what we're going to attach our sentiment to. Now I did my happy birthday sentiment with our large oval piece layered with a smaller one, and then I put the birthday on it. And I'm going to put just a little bit of glue on my two halves. Then I'm going to line up my birthday so it's in the center of my card, and I'm going to press it down. And now my birthday will move with my card. So as I fold it, the birthday moves, and that little half circles is what makes it move with the card, so it pops in and out. The reason for putting the sentiment on now is because once we get the box shapes over top of the base of my card, it's harder to get in there with your fingers, but you certainly can put it in afterwards. I'm just doing it ahead of time because it does make it easier. So next we are going to put on our boxes. To do that, we're going to take our strip. I have a diagram here that shows the score lines on it. And we are going to fold all of our score lines inward. So we're going to fold, 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 and fold. Make sure when you're folding that you're lining up both sides. So we're going to do that to both of our box strips. Okay, I've already taped mine, so I'm going to take my tape off. You can use tape or glue. I can tell you that these are under a little bit of stress, so sometimes I even use both on mine. You're going to line it up on the top of your box, right up here in the top. And then we are going to fold it down and make sure that you have like an 1/8 inch or a 1/16 inch on each side, so it's centered. And then we are going to push up our box so it kind of shapes. We are going to turn our box upside down. We are going to line it up so it's right in the middle. Press down on our piece. I'm going to lay my box back down. Make sure it's going up straight through here. And then if I need to persuade this seam just a little bit, I will. And then we'll have one box completed. And then we're going to do the same thing to the other side. So we've already scored it and folded it. And we're going to take our strip. We're going to stick it in the top of our box, equal on each side. We're going to lay it down. Make sure that it's even going along the edge, and you will see a little of your border there. That's okay. I got probably a 1/16 of an inch. Then we are going to take the opposite end. I'm going to turn my box upside down. I'm going to insert the tab right in the center. I'm going to press it down. I'm going to lay my box back down again, double check that it's going straight. And then I'm going to push up, and if I need to persuade this seam, I will. Most of the time you don't have to do anything there. Okay, and then we have our boxes on the front of our card that will fold flat so we can put it into our envelope. Shape them to bring them forward. And then next we will move on to decorating it. So for the embellishments, I used Creekbank Creations Going Postal Envelope Stamp and Die Set to make my flowers. And I used the Mini Die Birthday Set to make my balloons. So I do want to share with you something really cool that I figured out. So I was making my flower set, and I did this in a different color. I'll take this away. Okay, so I wanted to think of something to put on the bottom of it, so I decided I wanted a flower pot. And when I was using the birthday die set with the cupcakes in it, I noticed that the cupcake dies look like this, okay? So I said, well, maybe I can change that into a flower pot. So this is what I did. I took the cupcakes, I cut two of them, one with a light brown and one with a dark brown. I put just a little glue strip on here. Then I took the other cupcake and I turned it upside down, lined it up with the two pieces that come out the furthest on top of each other. Then I flipped it over and I took my scissors and I cut the back piece off. And then when I flipped it over, I thought it looked like a flower pot. Then I took my X-Acto tool and I cut a slit right through the center of my brown piece. And then I took my flower and I stuck it down inside of it so it looked like my flower was in a flower pot. So I created my own flower pot out of the cupcake die. I just thought that was a cool little tip I wanted to show you. So I took my rectangle square that I had and I sponged a little color around the edge, added my flower pot to it, and now I'm going to center this on the front of my card box. Okay. And then I did a balloon set with a mini balloon die set, and I'm going to center that on the opposite side. And that is going to give me my fronts for my box. Then I'm going to stand it up and I'm going to add my cupcakes to the top of the box. So I took and made the cupcakes out of the mini birthday set. Center those. And you remove the tape from this one. Sorry. Okay. And there we go. Now we have our cupcakes for the tops, our balloons and flowers for the sides, and now we are going to work on putting our sentiment at the top. So what I did was I took the die that we cut out, the piece of paper we cut out from the die, these are the score lines that are on it, and I folded all those score lines in an inward motion. Okay, then I took and I put well, let me show you, here we go. I took and put a piece of tape on both ends and one in the middle, okay? And by doing that, I did it on the same color as my background, so it's harder to see the tape. So that's why I showed it to you on this one. But I'm going to take my tape off of my center first. And I'm actually going to take my sentiment that I pre-made for my happy birthday. And I'm going to line that up in the center of this. I find it easier to flip it over and line it up in the center, and because it just fits without going over the edges. Okay, then I'm going to remove the tape on my two end pieces. I'm going to fold them under, and then I'm going to come over to my card base, and I'm going to figure out where I want it and tape it down. And then when my card bends, it will pop out with my card. So now we have completed the double box card that folds flat and fits into an A2 size envelope. I will show you a couple samples one more time. This was the graduation sample, and this is the snow Christmas one. And back to our one we did for today. Hope you enjoyed the video and have a great day.